Good morning, guys. So this is going to be my video on fibs and how I do my retracements and whatnot. So starting with just some basic concepts on the bottom here. Here I have a basic 5-wave structure. We have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a lot of questions are, hey, how do you measure your retracements? So in this, we have a start of an impulse here. So you have a wave 1 up, followed by a wave 2 pullback. A common retracement for a wave 2 is anywhere from 50% to 78.6% the length of one. So this is simply done by taking the origin of the impulse, taking it up to the wave 1 high, and extending it up to, or sorry, from the origin to the high. So then we get our retracements here. The idea is that in an impulse, wave 2 can't retrace over 100% the length of 1. So you would put a stop loss here in anticipation to be able to catch the strong wave 3 move up. So you would be looking for an entry in this area to catch the explosive wave 3 up here. Following that, you have your wave 4 retracement. So you have your wave 2 to 3. So what I do to measure a wave 4 pullback is I take the low of wave 2 and I measure it to the high of wave 3. Like that. And a common, where am I? And a common retracement for a wave 4 move is anywhere from 38.2% to 50% the length of wave 2 to 3. So I have these little notes here. Common wave 2 is here. Common wave 4 is right here. And then we have our final up move. Now that we know what the common retracements are, let me get these boxes out of the way. We know that after 5 waves, it forms a degree, or a wave 1 of a larger degree, which is this Roman numeral 1. And then we have our ABC pullback for wave 2. This count is valid as long as this low holds right here, because inside an impulse, wave 2 can't retrace over 100% the length of 1. So you would put a stop loss here after trying to catch the wave 2 low right here. And if that low would hold, it would imply that we would begin a new impulse move up. Here are some common corrective patterns. There are 2 types of key corrections. You have your zigzag right here, which is basically a sharp correction. So you have an up move, and then you have a sharp zigzag correction. So you have your ABC down and up. And it's called a 5-3-5 because the subdivisions are subdivided into 5-3-5. So for your wave A, it breaks down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is A. You get your 3 up for B, and then you get your 5 down for C. So that's why I always refer to as a 5-3-5 for a zigzag, and the flat corrections are sideways corrections. So you have your zigzag here, and your zigzag, this is a zigzag right here. That's what a zigzag is. And then you have a flat correction, which is a 5-3-5 flat. Flat correction is basically just a sideways correction. So you have your up move, you have your sideways correction, and up. It's called a 3-3-5 flat because the subdivisions for a flat break down into ABC down for A, and then you get your ABC up for B, and then your wave C subdivides like an impulse into 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is an important rule that I do follow. A lot of people don't believe in it, but I do think that it is pretty important. Is right here. So, for example, in this you have your wave 1 up, and you have a sharp wave 2 pullback. This is a zigzag. Then you have a explosive wave 3 up, and you have your sideways or flat correction, which tend to be shallow for wave 4, and then you get your wave 5 up. In this case, you have wave 2 equal flat. In this scenario on the right side, wave 2 is a flat correction, and then wave 4 is a sharp or zigzag correction. You will notice a lot of times that the corrective waves have an inverse relationship. So if here's the principle right here. If the first corrective wave is sharp, the second one will be flat or sideways. And opposite is if first corrective wave was flat, second will be sharp, zigzag. So keeping these in mind, we can start applying this to a real-time chart. Knowing that a zigzag subdivides into 5, 3, 5, into 5 waves, 3 waves, 5 waves, and then a flat subdivides into 3, 3, 5. So knowing that, we can begin here. We can begin right over here with the 218 low. So we had our low here, then we had a new impulse, which was confirmed because we made a higher low here. So you have your wave 1 up, and then you have your zigzag correction. If I go into a 5-minute, you'll be able to see it, but I'm not going to break down the microwaves. It'll confuse you guys. But you have a clear A, B, C. You have a sharp correction here. So we have our wave 1 and 2, and then you have your explosive wave 3 move up. You have your 1, 2, and you have your 3, 4, 5. So these 5 subwaves come together to form wave 3, because motive waves subdivide into 5 waves, corrective waves subdivide into 3. Now, knowing that wave 2 was a zigzag correction, it is safe to assume that the wave 4 correction is going to be sideways or flat. So going back real quick, if I were to measure the wave 2 low here, and I extend it out to the wave 3 high up here, 146, okay. We know that the common retracements are anywhere from 23.6% to 50%, which are these measurements we have over here. So knowing that it was going to be a flat correction, look at what happened, and you could see how the correction was a sideways corrections. In fact, you had a clear, you had your 3 down, you had your ABC down, then you had your A, B, C up for B, and then you had your 5 waves down for here. So this was a flat correction. A, B, C. And then you get your final move up here. And that composed of, so those 5 waves, let me zoom out. So those 5 waves came together to comprise of a wave A. 1, 2, 3, we had the flat correction here, 4, and 5. Now those 5 waves came together to form wave A, because remember, my count is suggesting that that we are in a larger degree corrective cycle, which breaks down into A, B, C. So knowing that we just formed, so these 5 blue subwaves came together to form wave A of a larger degree in this corrective cycle, we go back down and we find out where the wave B can end. Now, how do we do this? Well, what I just taught you guys from below is that for corrections, wave B tends to retrace, anywhere from 38.2% to 50%. So when you have, during a correction, you have a down move like this. Then you have your ABC corrective move, A, B, C. You typically get your wave B retracement to retrace 38.2% to 50%. Like that. So we have our move down, and then we have our ABC relief rally, and where I'm showing you guys now, we were looking at this B low right here. And we know that it retraces anywhere from 38.2% to 50% the length of wave A. So to do that, let me delete these out of the way. Too much stuff. Okay, so knowing that, we would take the, let me clear this up. So we know that those 5 waves came together to comprise of wave A of a larger degree. So what I would do now is, if we're measuring a wave B pullback, we're going to look for this origin, and we're going to measure it up to the wave A high up here. So we know that it can retrace anywhere from 38.2% to 50% the length of wave A. So that's what we're measuring, this low to this low. And then you can see a clear ABC pullback. You know, for example, which is the one I showed you guys below. You get your, let me delete this stuff. You get your A, B, C. You get your 3-wave pullback. So you get your A, so you get your big A, and then you get your 3 waves down. 1, 2, 3. So then you get your B low to form right here. And what I did with this is I use SIBs a lot, but I also use my levels for confluence. So, you know, for example, in here we had a rally-based rally, right? So I shared this on my newsletter, but I basically was looking for us, after we completed this wave A, I was looking for us to retrace back into this demand, rally-based rally. So to make things simple, I was basically looking for us to make a move like this. I was looking for an A up, I was looking for a B down into this, which we got, and I was looking for a C up. Okay, where am I? Yeah, so, I mean, as you can see, we had our clear 3, we had our 3 ABC. We had A, B, C, because this was a zigzag. We had a 3-way move down right into demand here, and then we were able to bounce back up. So next, we know that this is a B low, and then we know that we have to count 5 waves to the upside. So, one second. So, now we know that this low is now critical or key support, and this low is going to begin a new impulsive move up. So from this low, we have our wave 1 of C. Wave 1 of C. We have our first impulse up, and then we have a clear ABC zigzag correction. You can see a clear A, B, C. So here is a wave 2. Let me delete this stuff. We have our wave 2 here. and it made a higher low, right? So then from there, we know we have our wave 1, wave 2. This would be 2 of C. And then following that, we would have to count 5 more subwaves that break down, that compose of wave 3. Because remember, impulses subdivide into 5 waves each. So from this wave 2 low, we have to count 5 waves up. You get wave 1, 2, 3. You get your explosive wave 3 up. You get your wave 4, and then you get your wave 5 here. So we know that those 5 subwaves comprise of wave 3. So this would be called wave 3 of C. So now how did I measure this move right here? How did I measure the wave 4 of that? Well, knowing that wave 2 was a zigzag, we can assume that wave 4 is going to be a sideways or a flat correction. So what I do again is I measure the wave 2 low right here of 245.23, and I extend it up to the wave 3 high of 281.19 right there. And then here we get another flat correction. So let me remove these fibs. Okay. So guys, we get our wave 1, wave 2. We get our explosive wave 3 move up. And I measured the wave for retracements by taking the wave 2 low and measuring the wave 3 high. And again, what did I say about how flats subdivide? Flats subdivide into 3, 3, 5. So we know if this is wave 3 of C right here, look at what's going on here. We have our 1, 2, 3 waves, which would be A. So those 3 compose of A. We have our 3 more waves right here. 1, 2, 3, so A, B, C. So far we have 3 waves, so we have 3, 3, so this would be B right here. And then we have 5 waves down. I have to go into smaller time frames, but you know, here you see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know that we have a wave 4 bottom right here. And pretty much what this would look like is you have your wave 3 here, and you have your A. Let me delete this. Too much clutter. You have an A, B, C. So a sideways correction. Remember, wave 2 was a zigzag right here. 2 was a zigzag, simple zigzag. Wave 3, and then 4 was a flat, A, B, C. So now we know that wave 4, we know that this is now important / key support. So we now know that we are on wave 4 of C. And we know that we need 5 waves to complete the 5-wave move up for C. So, same thing, guys. You have to do a subwave count. So we know that this is key support here. So this cannot break or the impulse is invalidated. Here we have a clear diagonal or leading diagonal. You have waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get your wave 1 here. And then this correction took the form of another flat, of a 3, 3, 5 flat. You can see here again, broke down into A, B, C. So basically the flat is going to look like this. It's going to be an A, B, C. So we know that wave 2 was a flat. It is safe to assume that wave 3 is going to be a sharper correction or a zigzag. So this was a flat correction here, and we got our wave 2 low right here at 275.84. 275.84 is too low. So we know that this is a wave 2 low, or wave 2 of 5 low. So now we have to count 5 more subwaves. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we have a wave 1 here. Now how would I measure this wave 2 pullback here? Same thing. I would take the low of the origin of the move, and I'll measure a retracement up to the highs here at 278.99. And you can see there we retraced almost 50%, but we didn't make it quite. So we have our wave 1 and 2. Wave 1 and wave 2 here. And then look at what happens on the next day. You have our explosive wave 3 move up. So from wave 2, you have your gap up and continuation gap up for wave 3 here that we saw on Friday. So we know that this put in a wave 3 or a sub wave 3 of here. So how do we measure the correction or the pullback for wave 4 over here? Well, same thing here, guys. This was a zigzag. So now, knowing that, we would measure the wave 2 low here and extend it up to the high right here. And we know that wave 4 tends to retrace anywhere from 38.2% to 50% the length of wave 2 to 3. So I take these unnecessary fibs out because I know what the typical retracements are. Here. So let me get our subwave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was just showing you guys the micro count and how to break those waves down like that. But pretty much, let me just give you a refresher. Typical wave 2 retrace equals 52 or 61.8 or 78.6% length of wave 1, 2. Typical wave 4 retrace equals 23.6 to 38.2. 50% length of wave 2 to 3.